whatever it is for you, where's the joy in the new evolution or the reinvention or wherever you are in your business? Follow the joy.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. As we continue our Authority and Prosperity series in Extraordinary Women Radio, we're also beginning a special collection of conversations with some of the incredible women who will be joining us on stage at the Extraordinary Women Ignite conference this November. Ignite is a gathering of women entrepreneurs who are ready to raise their voice, elevate their visibility, and build thriving businesses rooted in Soul+Strategy. It's 3 days of inspiration, connection, business growth, and possibility, alongside an extraordinary community of women who are committed to creating meaningful impact in the world. You can grab your early bird tickets at camiguildner.com/ignite. You want to be in this room come this November. It's an amazing event and you want to be. So grab your ticket today and get that early bird special. When I think about authority and prosperity, I don't think they're simply about becoming more visible or generating more revenue. I think they're about becoming more fully expressed in your work, about building a business that reflects who you are, what you value, and the impact you are here to create. One of the things I've noticed in working with successful women entrepreneurs is that sometimes the next level isn't about doing more. It's about telling the truth about what no longer fits, the offers that no longer excite you, the strategy that no longer feels aligned, the version of your business that was perfect for an earlier chapter, but isn't the one you're meant to carry forward. And that's why I'm so excited to introduce you to today's guest, the gold sponsor at Extraordinary Women Ignite 2026, and one of our speakers. Karen Gruber is an international business coach, an author, a speaker, and founder of Diamond Pride. She helps women build profitable businesses without abandoning their values, voice, or inner wisdom. At Ignite, she'll be sharing her opening day presentation, The Power of Woo, Turn Inner Wisdom into Voice, Visibility, and Align Client Flow. In today's conversation, we are exploring what happens when a woman realizes the business she built may no longer reflect who she is becoming, how inner wisdom becomes a practical business asset, and how to reimagine your business from a place of deeper alignment and inner authority. Let's welcome Karen Gruber. Oh, welcome to Extraordinary Women Radio. Karen, I am so excited to have you here today.
Oh my gosh, Cami, thank you so much. I am absolutely beyond thrilled to be here with you.
And I am beyond thrilled to have you joining as our gold sponsor at Extraordinary Women Ignite this coming November. So I'm just thrilled to have you on the whole lineup of speakers, have you as our gold sponsor, and just really, really happy to collaborate and partner with you.
Thank you so much. I have been wanting to do this for a very long time, and this year is the year.
Awesome. It all the stars aligned, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your story. I want to hear more of your story that brought you into this body of work that you do, and how'd you find yourself here?
Oh my gosh. The highlights, my husband and I had owned a real estate company working for buyers, sellers, all of that, investors. And I knew there would come a day when he would retire from the business. And so I really, over the past, oh my gosh, I was counting 20 plus years now in the field of coaching, really got to spend the time getting the certifications, learning the processes, and really diving into who I can best help. And I started with moms. And then after I did that for a while, I started getting messages from the universes like, you need to teach women about money and making money. And you know how it goes. It's like,
You
yeah,
start
yeah.
listening. Oh yeah, you don't start listening at first. You start going, oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, what? Because at the moment it didn't make any sense to me, right? But then it kept coming, getting louder, more insistent. And finally I'm like looking around, it's like, well, yes, of course. Money, how to earn doing the things that you love. And what really hit home for me was I had interviewed, doing market research and just conversations organically with women. And the thing that really hit home to me was there were so many who had the same story, that they felt trapped in relationships because of the financial piece. And I'm like, oh
Mm,
my gosh, every woman
mm,
needs to know how to generate her own income so that she can choose into or out of the relationships that
yeah,
she wants.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. It's a, um, that topic and that just the whole women need to have their own resources is
Yep.
something that I have lived my whole life. I mean, I was
Mm,
divorced from my son's father very early on, many, many years ago.
yeah.
And I was so determined that I would never have to like scrape for money to,
Hmm.
put food on the table. And I remember,
Right.
like saying that at one point, one night when we had a box of mac and cheese and we were, you know, but I was like, I'm going to work hard so that I don't have to do this. And
Yeah.
that my son is always taken care of. So I think as mothers, we have this
Mm,
drive to to make sure that we can care for our kids, and we have to have the power to be able to walk away from a relationship that
yes.
isn't right. So
Yes.
yeah.
And isn't it lovely to grab that box of mac and cheese because you want it, not because you have to have it?
Exactly. 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 Well, that's awesome. That's, you so that's where you found your pathway, and you knew
Yeah.
you heard the signpost from the universe, and it guided you there. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. It's been fun watching your journey. So
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So you talk about wisdom or inner wisdom as a
Hmm.
practical business asset. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. I am all about the woo, and I know that although it's becoming more mainstream now,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are still hearing that's just frivolous, it's nothing, it doesn't mean anything, all the naysayers. But what I have found to be true is that when we are connected to the universe, God, source, whatever your language that you resonate with, everything flows so much more easily. It's more easeful, it's more joyful, it's more true, it's more resonant, it's more, I mean, I could throw out a million adjectives of what it is. And when we instead listen outside of ourselves, which we've been trained to do,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's draining. It doesn't work. We're not consistent with it. There's no motivation. It feels like drudgery. It's like, why did I do this entrepreneurial thing, right? It feels so heavy. But when we are connected and listening to it, guidance from there and guidance from within, everything is just so much more in alignment. It's more true, it's more real, and it creates the natural momentum. It creates the natural consistency, because we're aligned and we're
Yeah.
in it, and
Yeah.
it's joyful.
Yeah. How did you find your woo? I so agree. I mean, it's everything you're saying makes so much sense. And it's, I talk about soul+Strategy. So it's like,
Yes.
how do we weave that into it? And so how did you find your woo? Did you always have it, or was it something that came upon, you came upon it later in life? What was that like?
Yeah, I would argue that we all have always had it,
Yeah.
whether we listen to it
Mm-hmm.
or allow ourselves to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust and act on it is a whole
Mm-hmm.
different story. But no, I mean, I was copying people. I was doing exactly what people, experts told me to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it was working to an extent. Like I was successful to an extent,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And until I finally like took a step back and was like, "Whoa, what the heck are you doing?" doing things that felt out of alignment, poaching in people's Facebook groups and telling people there's only 3 spots when I had 10, all the nonsense. It was
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. I can't live like this. I can't run a business like this. It just felt so icky and out of integrity. And
Yeah.
so then I just really started to tune in and what was true for me in any particular moment. what
Hmm.
what strategies are important, but what ones did I enjoy? Which
Yeah.
ones did I shine? Where were my gifts? And really following that. It was a long road of discovery, really, and
Yeah.
experimentation.
Yeah. It's interesting because that was it was my journey as well. I mean, where
Mm,
um I don't know if you know, the horses are what took me into the world of
mm,
coaching, like,
yeah.
18 years ago or whatever it was. And
Wow.
so the horses, I learned that people were doing coaching with horses, and I was like, that's pretty amazing. And so it
Hmm.
opened up my door to saying, I think I'm going to go try this journey here. And
Yeah.
what I knew then was that I had always tuned into my spirituality, if you will, through nature and the horses. And so it was a
Mm,
very natural step for me to take.
yeah.
Really easy for me to follow that. Where when I came out of the corporate world, I was so linear thinking. Going
Mm,
back to being a child, all the imagination
yeah.
and all the things that would, you'd get out and play in the mud at the pond, and all the things, and you were just in such a different space that I would have never labeled it that, like you said. But the knowing, that inner knowing that we have as little girls, and how we lose that along the way,
Mm,
whether, I mean, my scenario was very much in the corporate world,
hmm.
and even to the extent of what you've just mentioned was the, trying to follow all the formulas
Yeah.
that are out there. We can fall into that. And I had some very specific moments too, where I was doing some inner work, and I got this message, this download that said, you're supposed to be a spiritual business. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when we get those messages, those signposts that things are supposed to shift and we're supposed to listen more deeply. And I've seen it for years in my clients where, you know,
Hmm.
every client I work with is their business is different and their inner knowing is different. So there's no
Yes.
formula to apply to
No.
that.
So true. So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I, like you, I was so spiritual in my personal life,
Hmm.
but afraid to show that side of me in the
Yeah.
business. And that's the side of me that draw people to me,
Yeah,
as I
absolutely.
discovered.
Yeah. 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 So I know this is your book is The Power of Woo, right? That's the name
Yep.
of your
Yep.
book, and your talk at Ignite is going to be The Power of Woo. Um,
Yes.
so just give us a little hint into what you'll be talking about at Ignite that you'll be helping people tap into.
My plan, my hope, my intention in this moment is to really help women open up to the possibilities of no limits. Like, if your
Mm,
business could look any way you wanted it to, what would it look like? And sometimes we feel so restricted, like, well, I'd offer a coaching package and I'd have this and da, 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 that we shut ourselves off from, oh my gosh, I could do oracle readings, or I could do retreats in South Africa. And like you with the horses, I feel like I have this extraordinary connection with the big cats and the animals in
mhm.
Africa. And like, and even that, there's more to that, right? Like, but we put ourselves in this little prescriptive formula
Yeah.
and don't look at our uniqueness and our passions and what we can bring to the table.
Hmm.
Not just hard work and nose down and we're going to do it this way and that way, but really getting really playful and imaginative with our businesses, and understanding that just because it might feel heavy or it might feel um, too prescriptive. Like that doesn't make us wrong or that we failed,
Yeah.
but it just means there's more opportunity for us out there,
Yeah.
and really opening up that channel, and then opening up the channel for all the learning, Cami, that you're bringing to the table for this incredible event and the other speakers. And like, let's not be so worried about how many business cards we can hand out, but
Yeah.
let's instead maybe go a little more inward
Yeah.
and what is available for us at this extraordinary event.
Yeah, and it's that's always what Ignite brings is it creates a space for people to receive.
Yeah.
It's to receive whatever wants to come up through them, what
Mm-hmm.
ideas, what thoughts, what whatever is there to unfold and bubble up. And it's also the to receive wisdom of the people in the room, which is always so beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
to
Oh,
receive the connections. And it's like you said, it's not a business card passing kind of thing, but it's actual true heart to heart connections
yes.
that happen in the room.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's beautiful. And I was so excited about having you join us on day one as a speaker so that you are like activating, this space,
Yes.
opening this space for, receiving throughout the full 3 days. So I'm thrilled about this. And I can't
Thank
wait.
you.
Yeah, you and
Me
I align.
too.
So I don't call it woo, but it's like
Yeah.
we're so aligned in that belief that there's something greater here that's guiding each of us, and that we're each here on this earth right now to do the work that we're meant to do. And that's always been
Absolutely.
what Ignite's been about. I mean, I've started with that line. Each and every one of you is here, here in this room is put on this earth right now to do the work you're called
Mm-hmm.
to do. And I have started with that line for years at
Is
Ignite.
that right?
Yeah.
How amazing.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
this is what we're being called into. And it's like my goal is to keep lifting women up into whatever they're being called into. So
Yep.
it's going to be beautiful. So beautiful.
Yeah. And
Let's
I
talk.
so feel that in your sorry, in your newsletters that I read, and the master classes and workshops that you offer. It just comes through so clear.
Mm,
And I hope what people recognize is that it is not easy to create a container or a room where people really are making heartfelt connections.
mm.
Like, I mean, I don't know, a lot of people say that, but you actually do it. And that is not easy to create. So thank
Thank
you
you, Karen.
for
I
that.
appreciate that. No, I get that feedback a lot, and I'll receive it because I feel like
Yeah.
that definitely it's 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 a and but I think it's a lot with the women that I just am drawn to as well because they're
Yes.
natural connectors. So I think
Yeah.
it's a combination of all the things. It's a
Yeah.
combination of all of that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about um, as we are, each of us is stepping into this person, and I don't even like to say that we're becoming because we are who we are. We
Mm-hmm.
have the light of who we are, but we're expanding and we're growing and we're evolving. And so this next version of ourselves to serve in the way that we want to serve.
Mm.
So, um, how can a woman recognize when the business she has built no longer fits who she's becoming or stepping into?
Yeah, well, I would say a lot of the things that we've already touched on in terms of maybe the business feels heavy or like almost really ill-suited,
Mm-hmm.
or you're not getting the same joy from whatever it was. Like for me, I wasn't getting the same joy from the coaching that
Uh-huh.
I had been.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, because, I've evolved,
Yeah, totally.
and our clientele ought to evolve with us, right?
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
so as we change, obviously maybe our niche changes, or the level of person that we're serving changes. And so when we're not pouring into that bigger potential, it can feel very restrictive and limiting and not fun anymore, and like, what am I doing wrong, or what's wrong with me, or why can't I do this? It's because it's time for another, either, I say reinvention, but keeping what works,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, we're
Yeah.
not going to just burn it all down for the sake of reinventing ourselves, but really honestly looking at what is working, what feels great, what feels heavy, and maybe it's time to release that. And like, how I remember when I was leaving my mom's, I had spent a fortune, on the branding and the photos and the this and the that. And it was like, and I had poured my heart into the programs. And it was like, oh, but I don't want to let it go. But you know what? It was time. It
Yeah.
was time. And so we need to be willing to accept that of ourselves and to recognize that we
Yeah.
are evolving
Yeah.
and up leveling, or
Yeah.
a glow up, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's inevitable when we're in this field. It's
Yeah. It's
inevitable.
really true. It really is inevitable. I had a big shift last year where at the end of the year, I had been running two mastermind programs simultaneously for many years.
Hmm.
And I got really clear. I have one that I'm going to be running.
Mm,
And I, you know, the person I was serving was changing just as my work was changing. And
yeah.
everything you just described. So definitely I went through that just a year ago. And it
Hmm.
was such an important step for me to take in the next evolution of me, in the next evolution of my business. And so I think it's really good for someone to tune into who's listening. And it's like, whether you are, in your first year of business and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm already starting to see shifts that's taking place in my business. And somebody who's
Hmm.
5 years or 10 years or 15 years in, our businesses are always going to shift and change. And we
Yeah.
have to listen to that inner wisdom inside to be able to actually recognize what is shifting, what wants to stay, what wants to leave. And we can find so much of that wisdom within us.
Yes, and that's where we need to start, really. Like, it's
Yeah.
not about um some of my ladies are like, well, um I work with some therapists, and they're like, there's like AI therapy apps and stuff, and I'm afraid I'm going to be out of a job. And it's like, well, let's take the fear out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And where's the joy? Where's the joy? Maybe it's no longer having to work with insurance companies, right?
Yeah.
It's and being relying on that, or whatever it is for you. Where's the joy in the new evolution, or the reinvention, or wherever you are in your business? Where
Yeah.
follow the joy.
Yeah. I like that a lot. And it's, even if you think of the world of AI, I mean, because so just to talk about AI, right? AI
Yeah.
it can open up, because it can take things off of our plate that we were doing before and open up space for us to do things that we love more.
Yes. This is all true. Yep.
Yeah.
And I just worry, my hesitation. I mean, I use AI,
Uh-huh.
freely admit it,
Uh-huh.
to do those things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But when women let it replace their
Yeah.
voice,
Yeah. You
that's a
can't do that.
problem.
And you
We
have to
can't do that.
lead. I always say that you can't outsource your leadership of thought, and you can't AI your leadership of thought.
Right.
But if you work with what you want to stand for, what is it that I want to stand for? What am I going to be known for? And then you define what your messaging platform is, and you define what's
Yes.
what's what's there for you. Then AI can really help you from the long run. But you do have to do that upfront work. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
you hollow out your messaging so quickly.
Yeah. And you sound like everybody else,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is shocking to say the least.
Yeah.
Looking at feeds and stuff and going, wow, okay, that's the third time, fifth time, seventh time I've heard that today, or
Yeah.
seen that today, right?
Yeah.
So really staying true to your message, to your voice, whether it's a voice on stage, whether it's your voice in content, whether it's your voice in a book, right? Whatever it is for you, just staying really true to that and
Okay.
trusting that that's enough. You don't
Yeah.
need the AI for that.
Yeah, totally. So let's talk about this reimagining piece of our
Hmm.
businesses and our lives, and what we want, that possibilities that are out there. I love
Yeah.
the energy of that. I love that, that's definitely something we do at Ignite, because it's like, what wants to come from me? What is, what's
Hmm.
here? What's been bubbling up inside of me that is just needs to come to life? I have a good friend who's been to Ignite multiple times, and she is she at Ignite several years back, she had an epiphany that she really wanted to work with women in Egypt. It's just Jessica Sato, and
Mm.
she talked about so she had this vision that she wanted to be, she grew up in Egypt, and she wanted to go back there and really work with women entrepreneurs there and bring community together, and had all of this vision, and bring women from the States to Egypt to go through
Mm.
the goddess, all the goddess vibes
Oh,
and all the things. It's really delicious stuff, right? So she had this
yes.
vision at Ignite several years ago, and maybe not even several years, probably 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And she's doing it now. And it
Hmm.
got born there, right? So it's like these ideas that have been the seeds that have been underneath of us. So these big ideas that live within us, and we're not letting them blossom and bloom. And I'm so excited watching her put this. She's got her retreat sold out. I mean, it's just amazing what she's
Wow.
doing. And she's
Yeah.
going to be taking these women on a 2 week trip through Egypt. And so, fantastic kind of thing that got birthed. So let's talk about reimagining. When we reimagine from inner authority instead of pressure and
Yes.
comparison and obligation,
Hmm.
what changes?
It depends upon how far you take it. So I believe that we all have the ability to listen.
Mm-hmm.
We all have the ability to receive these fabulous seeds like she did. And it's, it's true when for that split second, your whole body just ignites and lights up and is zinging, and you can just feel it in your whole body. Yes, this is for me. But if we don't trust that,
Yes.
and we don't then act on that, it never goes any further. And we talk ourselves out of it, and we give ourselves 100 reasons why it won't work or why we're not the person for this, like I did at first, right? We talk ourselves out of
Yeah.
it with the logical mind.
Yeah.
But if we can hold on to that feeling that you first feel when the possibility and the potential tunes in and comes
Yeah.
through,
Yeah.
then the sky's the limit. There is no limit.
Yeah.
You can do any of it, but you just absolutely, you have to trust it. And then you have to take that inspired action to see it through, or explore, or see where it takes
Yeah.
you, or experiment, or whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's easy to say trust it, right? It's so easy to say just trust it. It's a whole nother thing to actually embody that trust and step into it.
Yes. True.
Any
Very
tips
true.
on that? Like any tips that you would give on how do we really step into that in that way?
I would just advocate that you start small and you practice it
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
because I have never in my 20 plus years of coaching had anyone say, yeah, well, I trusted that and that turned out really crappy.
That's so true.
Like, I got the signals, I heard the message, I trusted it and it was awful. No, I have never heard that. But it does. It's like self-trust. We need to build it back in because we've
Yeah.
outsourced it for so long.
Yeah.
So, and it could be as easy as going to the grocery store and tuning in to what foods you're drawn to. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this mango. I don't particularly like mangoes, but today, for some reason, this mango is calling to me, and it was the most exquisite experience I've ever had eating that mango,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or,
I had a
um,
mango thing just a few weeks ago where I was like,
did you?
I've got to get a mango. I've got to go buy mangoes. And I just needed to get a mango. And
Yeah,
it was so
yeah,
good. You're right. It's so
yeah.
funny
And
because
so
your body knows.
your body knows, and that could be the same for, I'm going to go for a 5 minute walk, and you're getting a message, hang out for another 10 minutes or so, and just,
Yeah.
and trusting that and hanging out, and all of a sudden you have the most amazing conversation with someone, or you pass something on your walk that is so beautiful and it inspires you, or like, it can show up in so many different ways, but you just
Yeah.
have to practice trusting, because
Yeah.
like you said, it's not easy. It's like, maybe later,
Yeah.
but taking small steps towards that goes
Yeah.
goes a long way to building, so when the big things do come in, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I love that. I love it. So what happens when a woman starts trusting herself more deeply
Mm.
in her business and her life? What changes?
Um, not to sound trite, but everything.
Yeah.
You stand in your own power. You are not swayed by the, I don't want to say the word idiocracy. I don't know if that's even a word, but that's on the television or the news
Mm-hmm.
or outside
Yeah,
influences
that's really
that,
important.
is so important, so
Yeah. Because
important.
we can get
And
sucked into a lot of that
oh,
stuff so
we
easily.
can. And
And
even, yeah, I tell myself, even when I want to just look at cute little Vishla puppy videos and pictures, it's like I'm going to give myself 5 minutes, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, I'm going to be on it forever. But really, um, it creates a knowing inside of you and a trust that allows all the superficial, all the noise, all the everything that we used to pay attention to, it just falls away.
yeah.
And so decision making becomes easier, living becomes easier,
Mm.
your business becomes easier, conversations become easier. I'm so glad we didn't do this interview yesterday because I had a very upsetting phone call with someone yesterday. And
Mm-hmm.
when I got off, I let the feelings feel and pass.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was able to be very clear on where I stood on this topic and not sound victimy and not point blame, but really clearly state my position. And I was able to move on.
Yeah.
So, I'm not running it in my head now 24/7. I'm not
Yeah.
second guessing myself. I was able to be very clear in my position. And that was that,
Yeah.
right?
That's keeping your
So,
energy clean, right?
yes,
Yeah. And we'll
yes.
definitely be doing some of that at Ignite. So that's just another, some of
Yay!
our speakers will be bringing some of that to the
Ooh,
table. So
love
I
that.
I love, like, that's one of my favorite things when I'm picking speakers, is like picking all the different topics. And you get a lot of applications in, and you're going through them.
Mm,
You're like, okay, what topics are most important for right now?
mm,
And what topics all fit together in a way that
yes,
makes it comprehensive. So it's a really fun
sure.
process, a fun creative process for me to go through
Oh,
all of
I'll
that.
bet. Yeah.
And so the whole lineup, and so this whole month we are doing, each week we're doing some of the speakers from Ignite. So it's
How
it's it's really fun.
exciting.
Yeah, it's really going to be fun. So everybody can get a taste of who's going to be in the room, whose wisdom is going to be there. So where
Mm.
can people learn more about you and connect with you, and just what's the best place for them to find you?
Yeah, I would say the best place is to even just start on my website,
Mm-hmm.
KarenGruberCoaching.com,
Mm-hmm.
because it has some free complimentary resources there. You really can read as little or as much as you want about my theories and my teachings and how I live life, and get to know more about me. And then, I'm on the Facebook. I have a YouTube channel, Instagram, um, so you can reach out there as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then the final question that I always close with is, what are three pearls of wisdom you'd like to leave with us? You've given us so many wonderful tips throughout this. What are three pearls of wisdom you'd like to leave with us?
Ooh, believe in yourself, never give up, and listen.
Those are beautiful, Karen. Those are beautiful. Those are great tips. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to have you at Ignite. And thank you
Mm,
for joining me today. And we're gonna have so much fun. So it's November 5th through 7th in Colorado, in Lakewood, Colorado, and so kind of on the west side of Denver. And we are going to have an amazing room full of women. You want to be in the
mm.
room. You can get tickets there at CamiGuildner.com/ignite. And we can't wait to see you there. Early bird tickets are on sale right now. So go grab your ticket while you're thinking of it, and come join this room of amazing women and hear from the extraordinary wisdom that's going to be shared by women like Karen. Thank you, Karen, for
Yes,
joining us.
you're welcome. Be sure to stop by and say hello. I can't wait to meet you all. Thank
Yes.
you, Cami.
Thank you.